Greetings and welcome back. So we've done the tests on lift capabilities. Now, what we want is something to lift. That's my noodle. Where have I put it? Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the wrong save game. No! Not that one. Oh, hang on, just bear with me. Oh, that's embarrassing. I could edit it out, but really. Tutorials. I think I was in challenges. Nope. Oh, it's pitch black. Yep, that's the one. Okay. This one I call the Explorer class ship. So, starting from the top, standard 3-man class pod, high beams, parachutes, shielded docking port, big RCS tank, battery. Don't forget 2 sets of large docking ports there and there, extra reaction control wheels, 9 big orange fuel tanks. Now, what makes it Explorer class is the engine configuration. Well, my definition of Explorer class anyway. We've got 4 pods of 4 nuclear rocket engines for efficiency, and then we've got 5 mainsails. Why do we have the 5 mainsails? Well, that's simple. It's the same reason that we've got the landing struts, so that we can land on planets and take back off again. Now, I haven't put ladders on. I didn't see any point at the moment. Now, one thing I did do after testing this is I put landing struts on this stage here, so I can undock there and then use the RCS to land on a planet or asteroid or something. You know, for things like surface samples and whatnot. The only time obviously when that isn't going to work is if the gravity's too high, in which case you've got to take the entire ship down with you. Which then would probably help if we had ladders. I'm trying to think of the name then. But I didn't quite get that far. Now this is a huge ship. Seriously huge. And, well, in terms of mass anyway. And it's going to need something hefty to get it into the air, or into space. So let's go for the Explorer with my 3rd iteration of a launcher. Not exactly complete, but it's complete enough for me to show you, which is the whole point of this exercise. A little tutorial on how to shift really big, heavy spaceships. And as you can see by the loading time, it's pretty big. Yeah, you should see what it does to my PC. Come on, round and round we go. Yay! Yep, there's 48 holding clamps here. So let's go and zoom right out. You can see the nuclear rocket motors, you can see the landing struts on the Explorer class, and wow, yeah, it's huge. Just to get it into orbit, and then it only barely gets it into orbit. How does it work? Well, First of all, why have I gone for a star pattern rather than a Christmas tree? Well, try the Christmas tree. The problem is something I'll be taking up with the developers on the forum, hopefully to get it sorted as soon as possible, is the way that these ships are built in the craft files. I don't know if anyone has ever looked at the craft files. I can't speak today. But basically the way that they connect each individual component is it doesn't allow circular references, as in the bottom part of a component, for example, can't connect back around to the top part of it. It won't let you do a loop in the components. So, for example, if on an orange tank I put another orange tank to the side, one up, and then one across, and then to connect back down again, as in like a donut, it won't connect that last second side back to the original one, the first one, which kind of is a bit of a flaw, really. Now, might have been corrected in 23.5, don't know yet, I've only just finished downloading it. But this is a seriously heavy launch stage. So, do you fancy launching it? Oh, hell yeah, was that reply. Yeah. So, anyway, the reason why it's not a Christmas tree is that you can only have one connection point onto the Explorer. That's the Explorer in there. This bit in here. I only allow one connection to it, unless you pre-build it. Unless you build it like on the pad. In which case you've then got to use multiple docking ports, which then really cripples your game speed, annoyingly. So to use stack separators, it won't connect at 2 points to the Explorer, it'll only connect at 1. Which then basically means all the weight is at that 1 point, and no matter what I did, I had struts everywhere for it. No matter what I did, it just kept breaking. Even with things like thrust plates, I've forgotten the user that was on the KSP forum that published a video on heavy launch stages a couple of days ago, I think it was, or a day ago, something like that. I've forgotten his name, sorry, begins with A, I think, AL, something. Apologies. I could go and look, but really. Anyway, yes. Even if you do it like that, then you still only get one connect point. Which, don't get me wrong, using strut system, like what's in the centre of the Explorer, which I haven't actually shown you, have I? If we zoom right in, yes, I'm reduced to about 10 frames a second here. If we zoom right in on the Explorer, you can actually see I haven't used separators. I've also used some impressive fuel piping as well. But, yeah, the fuel piping is set up so that all the tanks will get fed with fuel regardless of which set of engines that I use, or even if I use them both at the same time. So no matter what the fuel consumption is, all the tanks will sort of balance each other out and keep feeding and whatnot. So as you can also see on this Explorer, I've got the landing struts as well on here. So basically everything on this is kind of complete. Kind of. Had to use separatrons on the top of these tanks because the way that it separates is with the radial separators here, which kicks the bottom of it out. And what I found is the top then slams into the next tank. So I used separatrons at the top to kick the top of it out. Now, IPC really struggles to launch this, so I'm going to give you a good show. It will probably end up in great big fireworks, but I'm going to switch to post-commentary to do it, which means terminating this video stream and starting a new one so I can do the post-commentary afterwards. Yay. So, check the staging, fires them all up, releases docking clamps. Then we've got these two radial separators which separate these small ones. They're just for a boost to get it off the ground quicker. And then we start separating the outer layers of tanks, all 8 at a time. Now I tried doing asparagus staging, and when it got to between 10 and 15,000 it became unstable and had a general tendency to flip over, and then because of the rotational forces it would just explode. So kick out the outer layer, then layer 2, which is this one, and then layer 3, and hopefully we should be pretty much near orbit, he says. Do I struggle from diminishing returns with this rocket? Hell yes, which kind of gets annoying. Now what we don't do here is we fire these mainsails, but we don't fire the ones that are in the centre. So the entire Explorer ship is actually dead weight. We don't use the fuel that's on it. We do have feeder pipes that should we need to use its engines, we can do. And we can feed fuel from the outer layers into it. But at the moment, I'm not doing that, because I found that on launch with the outer ring here, it had a general tendency to start twisting, and then we ended up with structural failures. So I decided that the best course of action would be to use 2 action groups to enable and disable the engines on the Explorer class, which you need anyway, because you don't want to be running the mainsails all the time because they're inefficient. So if we need to, with the with the inner group of main tanks, that's these, if they're still attached, we can go ahead and enable the engines on the Explorer class and use the fuel from them to get us into orbit a bit quicker. Hopefully. The trouble is, my PC slows down to a right crawl when launching this, as I've already said. So it can be fun. So I'm going to now switch to post commentary and terminate this video and start another one. But don't worry, you won't notice a darn thing. Alright. Hopefully, third time lucky. Nothing broken. Still nothing broken. Nope, nothing broken. Nope. Looking good. Might actually get up this time. Still nothing broken. Yep, I'm now in post-commentary. Video has been sped up to 4 times actual game speed, which I might add was somewhat slow. So there goes the little ones that were on to get us off the ground and get us going. And of course, as it just so happens, we have the A-team on board. Bill, Bob, and of course Jebediah. The Indestructibles. But you can exile them. And that's the outer ring gone. Ooh, pretty fall away. And up, looks like the Separatrons caused a little bit of damage. Oh well, still flying, and it's in a straight line. Of course I'm launching at night, aren't I? Why is it whenever I try to do a video like this, it's always at night time? Why? Somebody please answer me that question. Why is it always at night time? And another fall away, which is nice and pretty. Notice how the spotlights that I have on this illuminate the tanks as they're falling away. Pretty. So let's keep an eye on our orbit status here. Having a little bit of roll. But they are shaken and not stirred. And that's the final set of tanks, so we're now using the onboard engines just to shove us the rest of the way into orbit. A little bit of time warp. Dun, 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 dun. Right, now we're going to use the nuclear engines on this one. No. Need a bit more thrust than that. A bit more still. There we go. Now I'm just going to make a few manoeuvres to circularise our orbit, which is a little bit wonky. And hey presto, the Explorer class is in orbit. Used a bit of its onboard fuel, but oh well. I can send a refueler up for it. It's not that big of a deal. But could probably do with some extra fuel tanks. Now nicely in orbit. But that concludes the heavy lift. I'm CW, and we did crash a couple of times today. Next set of videos.